Hey everybody! Welcome to the third Fangirl Nation online book club, and we are going to be discussing The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, the first book in the King Killer Chronicles. With me right now, I have two wonderful guests. I'm going to have a third showing up because of computer issues, so I will go ahead and let them introduce themselves. First with Miss Sarah.
Hello. I was on the first episode. I was very rambly. I will try to be less rambly. I'm on Fangirl Nation now as a writer.
Woo!
Woohoo! Some of my movie and book reviews there, and then you can always follow me on Twitter at Brockwoman if you like to hear lots of things about music and cats.
Cool. And now next person, Miss Nix.
Yeah, Nix with Firebird Leather. I'm just, I'm just here, so. Sorry, I'm recovering from a really long weekend, so I'm not all here quite yet.
It has been a long weekend for all of us. So that's why we shall commence and talk about books. So, it doesn't kind of make sense what I'm holding, but nothing really makes sense what I'm holding until later. So we'll get into that in a moment. We'll go ahead and talk about what the book is even about in general. It's kind of a hard question to answer, but in a nutshell, it's pretty much a very awesome, epic fantasy. And it's told in 3 parts, and the 2 parts, book 1 and 2, have been released. Book 3, we're all eagerly waiting for. Mr. Rothfuss, hurry it on up. And what it's doing is that it's told by a day, but it's lots of memories. And the main character is, don't know if I can pronounce this, Kavat?
I always said Quoth.
Quoth?
Quoth. Like Quoth
Quoth?
the Raven Nevermore.
Quoth.
That was kind of how he described it in the book, to say it like it had a Q-U instead of a K.
Quote.
Okay.
Quote. Okay, quote. So I was just making a pronunciation. So quote is definitely kind of like, well, he's a gypsy. He's considered a gypsy in this story and fell on some really difficult times. And it's just kind of his ascension from a poor boy to a magic user in a university to some mysterious next part, which you kind of get into in the second book, but what's going on is something happened to Quote to give him this kind of bleak ending. You get a sense that he did something great, but it's going to be explained. But before we go into any further about the description of the book, let's have Miss Kellie introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Kellie. What are we doing for more?
Introducing yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how it works. So I kind of gave a really jumbled explanation of what the book is. Does anybody want to give a better explanation or add anything to what I've missed?
There was one guy, I think, who called it, I think it was in a vaginal fantasy review, but he called it a romance for men, and I think that was ridiculously accurate.
A romance for men. Huh. Okay, I can see that. Anybody else want to give a great descriptor? Nope. Sarah? Kellie?
No, that's about right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, like in a nutshell, I mean, that's what the book is, and it's not really breaking any new ground in terms of story, but for me, it's just the way the story is so well written in my world. And it's just a great storytelling. What was that? Who said? I can't say that. I can't. Okay.
Oh, my computer froze for a second. If you asked a question, I missed it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. And I also have a cat behind me. Pretty much. So, what are your guys' first impressions of the book? And if you guys want to say, you could put your hand up since I forgot to make little things.
I read it a while ago, and I just finished the second one, so I'm going to do my best to make sure that no spoilers. I absolutely adore them both. Like, it has been a while, maybe since Kushiel's Dart, that I've read what qualifies, I guess, as high fantasy, and not had massive issues with something in the book. I mean, I have some issues with it, which we can get into in more detail later, but overall, it's one of the few books I've given a 5-star rating to on Goodreads.
Okay. Anyone else want to mention their first thoughts on the book? Or general thoughts?
Well, just for me, having the 2 kids, it took me forever to get through, not because it wasn't a really good book and a really good read. That's just, you know.
It was just,
it's
yeah,
a long
it's a lot.
book, and, yeah.
Nix, do you want to add anything?
Well, I finished the book about 30 minutes ago. So not because it wasn't a great book, it was. I absolutely loved it, and I'm to be perfectly honest, like, I think about halfway into it, I kind of wanted to throw it out a window because I found out that this was this writer's first novel, and that's just not fair. That's not like, if the guy wasn't so incredibly nice, I would want to punch him in the face, because that's just not, like, as a writer, that's incredible. I mean, yes, every story has issues and things that you don't like, but the sheer storytelling ability and the voice was so cool that, I mean, I expected this to be like this guy's, like, 10th or 15th piece of work. And to find out it's his first novel, I was really blown away.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, yeah. I hate him and I love him at the same time, because like, you're reading it and it's exactly what you said. You think it's a seasoned veteran writer of many years and many stories. It's his friggin' first series. And on top of that, it's already being optioned off for a movie. So, yeah.
And a TV
Especially
show.
for those of us who are doing NaNoWriMo this month, yeah. So, not fair right now. Yeah.
I was skeptical about the book with this being his first novel and it being so large. It's like, oh great, I mean, too many first novels that are that large. I just have pretty much thrown. So.
Yeah, but this is kind of one of those things where the praise, for me, I believe the praise is well worth it, well earned, and like, I'm jealous, but this is kind of one of those things like just kind of like The Martian, to be honest, you guys, by Andy Weir. I mean, that was his first book too, and like, what happened in the span of a year?
Yeah.
So, magic does come true, guys. That's a lesson I'm learning here. So, you know, I'm gonna wish upon a star somewhere.
Project.
So let's kind of explore bits and pieces of the book, because the book really is like this thick. But like we said, the story is really great, so you're just gonna devour the whole thing. A good major part of the book is the university itself. So if Hogwarts is kind of like the middle school, high school of magic, this is a freaking university of it. And this is not even anywhere close to Hogwarts. There are 4 main, I guess, divisions, classes. What would you guys say these are?
Like areas of expertise.
Like areas of study, I believe. And see if I remember correctly, one is sympathy, artificery, alchemy, and naming. I don't know why I can't say that word. Naming, I can know at the bat because it's the name of the book, and that's what he's focused for. It's basically, you're trying to find the true name of something, and it'll grant you pretty much solid control on that thing, which can be amazing and scary at the same time. The other 3, I'm kind of really bad at remembering. Sarah, it's been a while since I read it. Which is the one that was like you connected the 2 physical objects? Was that Silgadry? No.
Sigildry.
That was Silgadry. Yeah. I'm doing a horrible job explaining these magical divisions. I mean, Rothfuss, of course, did a better job of it, but I don't know. Can you guys explain the other three by any chance?
Oh, sympathy is the one where like you can tie heat into another object and then have influence over that object without naming.
The blood, right?
Yeah.
The blood demo, which was an awesome demo. Freak, yeah.
Well, they almost killed themselves, but you know.
And I forget the other two, but I mean, essentially, we could kind of explore the magic system in this thing, because like I said, it's not really breaking any new ground, but the world that he created is really cohesive in that it totally makes sense. So what I liked about this magic building is that, yeah, you can be super powerful, but it's basically following the simple law of physics. Energy is not created, it's just transferred. So the more magic you use, you can even use your own energy, and you can actually, pretty much kill yourself trying to do a spell. What do you guys think about the magic system in the book?
I like that it had consequences.
Mm-hmm.
That it wasn't. I mean, in some systems, and a specific one isn't coming to mind right now. Maybe Harry Potter. You can get tired if you do a lot of it, but it doesn't really give you a source or a, like, how do you get tired? What exactly is causing exhaustion? So I really liked in this system how it's like, okay, you're doing something, but it has to come from somewhere. Like, it was much more complex, and like, I get it. There's a point in the Harry Potter books where they started as books for children, where you're not going in to go into theoretical, like, magical, like, physics or whatever. But if that's even a thing. But I did like in this one that Quoth, who could be kind of an uppity little pain in the ass. Sorry, language myself. Like, there were moments he's like, I can do this, and then the magic system came back and was like, no, you can't.
You're like, ha, ha.
Yeah, so that was nice.
Nix or Kelly, any thoughts or chiming in?
I just remember thinking, I hear Rumpelstiltskin in my head. All magic comes with the price.
I did too. Imagine he was a professor at his university. Oh, that'd be awesome. No one would get in. No one would pay. He would just keep upping the tuition just for the hell of it. Oh, and that's another thing about this university. You can be smart enough to get in, but you have to be really smart and impress the teachers, because there's a, what do they call it, the appointment day? Or the test day? Like, you have to stand in front of the professors, and they fire off all these questions, and it's up to them to determine your tuition. I would be so screwed.
Yeah.
I do not work well under pressure.
Oh, no.
Pressure.
Exams ever.
Right? Nix, any thoughts on the magic world?
Well, as somebody who didn't, like, grow up, quote unquote, with the Harry Potter universe, it was, so in a lot of high fantasy novels, you get the whole, like, if you're going to do magic, it does cost you personally kind of thing. But what was unique about this one was how much detail he went into as to, how that magic was manifested. Like, when he was using Sigildry in order to accomplish sympathy, in order to, like, focus everything. Because in a lot of other books, it's just like, oh, well, you're a spellcaster, you have components, and yeah, like, the magic is drawn from within you, but it never really goes into, like, how it's manifested in the world. And so that was impressive how well it was done on that front. And as for admissions day, I thought that was brilliant. I kind of wish that, like, schools here would do that a little bit, because it's kind of like, if you're willing to work hard and really put forth the effort, and then, and you have that desire to learn, then you're going to get in. And I feel like that's a more valuable student than just somebody whose family has money. So,
although, I mean, that does kind of backfire a little bit now that you mentioned the family that have money. Does anybody remember the name of the rich kid?
Ambrose.
Ambrose.
Uh,
Then there's Ambrose. Who's like this version's Malfoy.
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. So Ambrose from the beginning, K-Guy, pretty much tells us that this is his main nemesis throughout. But as the story keeps going, it hints that there's something even bigger that happens between those two. But for the first book, Ambrose is pretty much an asshole. He's a rich asshole. He has pretty much all the money. And not only that, his family's influential. So in this case, the university can't screw him over, or else they themselves will be screwed over. So that's kind of interesting that you mentioned that Ambrose got in. Little dick. I hate him. I don't like him. Jerk.
Well, I think that they kind of, yeah, they may not have been able to, completely throw him out on his ear, but they kind of benefited because then they could still set his tuition super high and then use that tuition to pay, the expenses for other students who maybe didn't have that much cash. So,
Mm-hmm. And then since Nix is, firing away the great segues right now, let's kind of mention how K-Guy even makes money in the first place. So, K-Guy, I'm calling K-Guy because I can't pronounce the name. He's pretty much an orphan kid, gypsy, and in this world, even being a gypsy sucks, which is kind of sad because their way of life seems to be quite awesome, musical and loyalty, faith, whatever. He's orphan. And he meets Deanna, which we're gonna talk about because yeah, and so he pretty much sets in his mind exactly what Nick said. This is great because he has the willpower and the energy and the determination to go to university, but he's flat out broke. So the first clue that K-Guy is not necessarily the most trustworthy guy ever, he lies his ass all the way through university, which I thought was hilarious and just shows okay, this guy has a lot of stamina into him. But my favorite part of his money-making scheme is, of course, the bar. Elodian? Wait, that's not the bar. What's the name of that bar? It's a rich bar.
I think it was the Elodian.
Is it the Elodian?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So, because he's a gypsy, K-Guy is really well-versed in storytelling and musical abilities, kid genius level, apparently, because the jerk can, figure out a musical note out of nowhere, As a band member, that pisses me off because it took me months to, learn one scale. So, apparently in this bar, if you're really good and talented, you play for the people and they'll give you money. And they're kind of like sponsors, kind of this thing. What do you guys think about his money-making schemes and the Elonian in general?
I mean, obviously, being in music is wow, a musician can make a living off of music. This is a different world.
You had to go, to the next town over.
Yeah, true. I really liked the scheme, and I guess this might be real. I never really thought about it. Of people buying him drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really just water, and then he split.
Oh, I love that. Which is actually what I'm doing. You guys are so good with the segues tonight.
No, this is real.
It's just water. Because I'm driving later. Don't drink and drive, peeps.
No, I'm drinking and then walking to the Froyo place. So anyways, no, I thought that was genius because, especially for someone like him who's yeah, drinking is nice, and fun, but I'm broke as hell and really, really, really need money.
To be that young and have that presence of mind about money.
Yeah, because what is he,
be that responsible.
He's 15 or something, right?
Yeah.
Young.
Yeah, I was totally not that responsible with money at 15.
I still not, but
Still not. And also, in addition to the money-making abilities, at the bar, he's able to use his talents and magic to work at the forge, which I thought was really cool for the school. That's kind of cool. Is it the first book that we meet Fila? Is that what?
Fela, yeah. Fela.
I think I'm Fila.
What?
I feel like I'm Fila.
Oh, I feel like that too.
Do you often answer your door in nothing but a bedsheet?
That's not how I feel like I'm her, because we get into the romance now.
Yes. Segue.
Because Kvothe is smitten by this. Was it Deanna?
I don't like her.
I don't like her. She's so
stupid.
Yeah, she's not a very complex character. And it's like, yes, okay, she uses what she has, which is, her looks and her body to get things, like, get fed, basically. But then you got Fila. I always feel like I'm the Fila. I'm like, hey, I like that, like you. And you never mind, you ignore me. I always get friend-zoned. And that's what... By the way, girls can get friend-zoned.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, they can. Dude, I know this.
Yeah, so I'm like, really? You're gonna obviously, they said that she is good looking. I mean, not as good as Dina, maybe,
Dina.
but she's working hard. She's got a brain, and she just totally gets thrown to the side.
Mm-hmm. Whereas Deanna's like, oh, I can never stay in one place. I have to go away because I'm a jerk. Can't even leave a stupid note. Stupid jerk.
That's the thing that drove me crazy about her. It's like, okay, to a point, I get if you live the life of a gypsy. And I'm not quite this bad, but it took me a very long time to learn how to stay in one place. Like, after I lived in LA for 2 years, I honestly was like, oh, I've lived here for too long, I need to move.
Well, you tell people where you're going.
Yes, that's the thing. It was like, I get the gypsy nature. I don't understand why it was so hard to say, yo, had to leave town, be back in a couple months.
I don't think she's a gypsy, though. Am I wrong? I don't think she's a gypsy.
I don't think so. I think that's the nature of how she had to behave to survive.
Yeah, she wasn't part of the Adamaru, but I think or however you said that. But she
I gave up on trying to find his name. Yeah, I mean, like I agree with you. Like, I get she was trying to, explain herself. I think it was Elodian herself. Explain, Deanna's nature of her business and why she has to go to the arms of one man to another, which is, in this world, we get it. We totally get it. But she's still a freaking jerk. Especially with the really poor dragon thing that ate the poisons.
The stone dragon.
I'm still really upset about that, guys.
Like, what they do to Toothless.
Oh. It's not his fault. He ate the stupid things. They could have killed him faster. Bastard. No, I'm still stuck. But anyway.
Wait, what did Dina have to do with killing the lizard?
Yeah. I kind of jumped the thing a little bit. So
she was passed out for the majority of that. So
oh yeah,
I mean, you lay a lot at her feet, but not that.
Because she was there.
Yeah,
and we don't like her.
We don't like her. We're not.
I'm gonna step in. I loved her character actually. Because and I understand that maybe a lot of the choices that she made were hard to understand, but I can see where she's coming from, because I don't feel like she was really trying to jerk Kvothe around. I get the feeling that something really terrible has happened to her in the past, and she's acting out of a sense of self-preservation. And she was doing her best to work as hard as she could. Like, she was at the Elodian trying to earn her pipes so that she could get a patron, so that she could be more independent. But it's tough in that world when you're a girl and you don't have any money to speak of. And when you have to leave so quickly, I mean, I got the feeling that she would take off, not because she was trying to be mean to Quoth or because she was trying to be flaky, but because she knew that that was the best way to ensure her safety. Like, because all of these men that she's interacting with are wealthy, powerful, and men. So the best way to end that relationship quickly is to get the hell out of town.
I got that one. Like, no, the powerful men part I got, but like after they deal with the dragon thing, poor dragon, she was like high off, right?
You're breaking
And
up.
then, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so she was high off that sugar thing she ate, the thing that sounds like crack or something. And like he was taking care of her, and then she just runs. I mean,
well, realistically, what was she supposed to do? Because if she would have gone back to the town, they would have been like, wait, you're the person who survived the wedding. You're the one who brought this on us. Like, how could you survive both of these two tragedies? And none of this stuff started happening until you arrived. Like,
I think we already addressed that. Am I missing? I'm forgetting this.
Well, they kind of blamed her after the wedding when she was in the inn. Yeah. Everybody was really kind of looking at her like, well, what the hell? Why are you the only survivor? If she would have gone back after the town has now been destroyed, that probably wouldn't have gone over very well for her.
True. But, like, I'm not saying go back to town. I'm saying at least stay for him to say thank you. I gotta go. She just
how is she to know that he's even alive?
You wake up.
She's out there in the middle of the woods. She sees a town burning off in the distance, and he's left her, like, food and water. Like, what is she supposed to think? She can't go to the town to find out what happened. She has no way of contacting him.
I still don't like him.
I agree. I just feel like Devi and Phila I like those characters better as far as females go.
Oh wait, which one was the female?
Is it Devi, the loan shark?
Devi is awesome. Although I kept imagining her as Devi Lovato. Because of her name.
You know, I will revise my opinion after listening to Nix a little bit.
Nix and your powerful debate skills.
Right. But I can't.
Say Team Fila.
Yeah, but I can't give my reasoning because it's based off of book 2. So at the end of book 1, I called her Denna. Like I still liked her. Like she was still a little bit mysterious and like kind of fun. By the end of book 2, and granted, she was not the only one who I thought was a complete idiot. She and several other characters I thought were complete idiots, and I was like, what is the point of any of your existence right now?
Right.
So it fluctuates depending on the situation. She still has time to redeem herself.
Yeah. I mean, like, we still don't really know. Like Nix mentioned, we still don't really know Deanna's story, but, I mean, we're all going from the perspective of K-Guy's perspective. So we'll see if Deanna redeems herself. Is there a really good reason? Are we all going to love her? But as of now, I'm still Team Fila because, like Kelly said, she was awesome. And I feel like I would be like Fila in the middle of a fire, like a badass.
But why does it have to be team whatever? By the end of book 1, by the end of book 1, Quoth isn't interested in Fila that way, and I don't think it's anything personal. It's just, he's
I'm shipping them.
Fixated.
I'm shipping them so hard.
I really wanted Sim and Savoy to hook up.
Oh. Yeah.
And if something horrible happens to Sim, in book 2, don't tell me. But I thought that they were, I seriously thought that they were kind of a couple. Because there's, certain things that, they say to each other throughout the book, they're kind of like,
I like that. How do you pronounce the name again?
Which one?
The Sim guy, the friend.
Well, there's Sim, who I think is, Simon or Simon. And then there's Savoy.
The nice shy guy, and the other guy.
And Savoy's the kind of arrogant rich kid.
Yeah.
The nice one, not the jerk.
I was imagining the other guy as Brock from Pokemon. I don't know why, but that's what I kept thinking. I had Brock and then I had Ash. And there's no connection to Pokemon whatsoever.
Are you reading Pokemon / fiction?
No, but I might have been watching too much Pokemon music videos this time. In my water. But yeah, like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like because Fila made him a cloak, you guys, and sewing's not easy.
She didn't make it. She bought it.
Well, okay,
That's
she
more
made it work. Why does it adore her?
And he did kind of set his on fire rescuing her, so...
Yeah. Just kind of tit for tat.
Yeah. I'm not trying to, get down on Fila, but, like, I kind of feel like we didn't really see a lot of her. Like, I thought Ari was way more interesting than she was.
Ari. Oh my god, Ari.
Ari
What the hell is up with Ari?
I don't know, but she's awesome.
I love her. I know in... Oh shit, what's the name of that book? The White Old Man... No. The second one is The Wise Man's Fear. There's another one. It's not part of the King Killer, but it features Ari.
Oh, give me 2 seconds, I know.
Yeah. I haven't finished it yet, so if people have read it and, you know, blah, 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 good for you. I have got a pile of books. But I know that one features Ari. So Ari is a student at the university, and we don't really know, well, as of right now, because I haven't read that book, what happens to her, but she's been hiding underground in the tunnels because the school has, like, ridiculous amount of levels. And she walks around barefoot, and she's, like, as skittish as a cat. And she speaks in weird words. She kind of reminds me of River from Firefly.
The slow regard of silent things.
The slow regard to silent things. Who else adores Ari? I adore Ari.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was totally cute.
I love her. I kind of, like I said, I haven't read the book yet, but I really am imagining she's going to be, like, some sort of badass character, and she's going to, like, wield, like, ridiculous amounts of magic and, like, create a dragon out of just nothing or something. Or be able to control a dragon. Yeah. That would be really cool. And not a Sailor Moon theme song. I don't know. You know what? It's the Pocky.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've been, like, eating sugar straight for the last 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Ari was cool, but I think Bast was my favorite thing ever.
Oh my god, Dad! Oh my god. We need more Bast.
I know.
That sexy beast. Literally. Oh my god.
Totally.
I just loved him threatening the Chronicler at the very end. Like, I was just like, holy crap, you're a badass. Like, I mean, you were cute and you were adorable up until this point, and now you can totally, like, threaten somebody like that? Oh, I'm down. I'm so down.
Right? You guys have, like, a certain, like, actor imagining as Bast or anything?
As cliche as it is, I would say Tom Hiddleston, because I was picturing that, like, dark feline look, you know? There's another guy, but I would have to look up the name. I can't remember right now.
After watching Crimson Peak, I really imagine him as Bast now.
Don't get me started.
No, watch it. Get started. Get started.
No, I actually never really thought of a specific person as him, but I had an interesting change, and I just realized this. Like, up until the end of book 1 where he does the big threatening scene, like, I kind of imagined them all in, you know, normal traveler's clothes, like, you know, poofy shirts, leather pants, boots, whatever. And after that, I just totally imagined Bast, in book 2, all throughout book 2, in, like, black leather from head to toe.
Yes, with studs and a vest.
Yeah.
And a center chest. And, like, I don't know why pointy ears. But, oh yeah, totally. Now I'm imagining Hiddleston in black pants, leather pants.
Oh, I imagined that years ago.
So I think what's really interesting about Bast's character, other than literally being a sexy beast, because he's not human. He's a Chandrian. See?
He's a what?
I don't think he's one of the Chandrian.
No, he's Fae. He's not a Chandrian.
He's Fae.
Who is it? Either way, his kind is dangerous.
What?
And
Yes, quite a bit.
it's awesome. And there's, of course, another whole backstory of what his connection is with K-Guy. So that'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to see a lot more, not even a lot, actually, like, frustratingly a little bit more in the second book, but, you know, most of it's on K-Guy. Not really bad. But bad. Super awesome character. Give us more, Rothfuss. Give us more. That's true. Alright. Now, onto my random segue. What do you guys think K-Guy has done? So, like we've been mentioning, this book is told, so he's telling the story to a guy who's a storyteller. No, sorry, the chronicler.
Right.
Chronicler. Whatever. So, this guy is writing the story now, and he's writing the story over the span of 3 days. Book 1, 2, and 3. So K-Guy is known as a king killer. That's his legend. But as of the book starts, he's just a guy who's running an inn. But he's kind of like the guy that runs an inn with like a really dark past. He's not really happy. Even Bass is worried about him. So what kind of guesses? I mean, I know we must have read the second book. We still don't really know what the hell happened. But we're kind of getting hints on what happened. What do you guys think that he might have done?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, Deanna.
That's
I mean, I don't remember. Go ahead.
That's really the only thing at this point with what we know about Quoth is like there's not a lot that gets him down. He can get over anything or through anything or around anything except this obsession with Denna.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even throughout the second book, like completely obsessed with her. So I have a feeling it has something to do with her.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is, at this point, we have no idea what else would affect him that much. Like, the dude's family was massacred. He met their killers. He's chasing after their killers.
He's met them several times.
Doesn't faze him in the slightest.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
in fact, he has enough of the mind power to go on a side quest, which I kind of like, but that's in the second book.
So it's like it has to be either something with her or something. I don't know.
Combining.
Yeah, like
I have to do with the Chandrain.
Something, yeah.
Or because go on, Kelly. I'm just thinking.
Well, I'm just saying, wasn't it through his mom? There was some link to nobility. I'm just saying, I think that's the only reference. The only reference to nobility, really.
Oh yeah.
There's a little bit more when he remember when he hasn't made it to the university yet, but he like walks into a tailor shop with no clothes, playing the nobleman's son, which was a hysterical scene. So there's nobility, but I've never heard any mention of a king. Like the only part of the governmental structure we hear about is that part where somebody gets taken away by the church. And he says something about, like, that the church and the government are sort of separate, but there's never really a king mentioned. But Bast is a prince of the Fae. So I'm kind of wondering, where the hell did you get Bast? And,
can you write a book about him?
Yeah, and if you're the king killer, maybe it's not a human. So he says that the fact that all of these demons or all of these fae are now in his world, that it's all his fault. So did he kill a king of the fae, and somehow that means that now they're part of his world or something like that? Or I don't know. He seems to blame himself for an awful lot, which could be arrogance or.
What kind of nobility is it? Is it an actual slang, or is it not done literally, just just almost dethroned somebody from their position.
Kelly, did you read the second book by any chance?
No.
Not yet, right? So Sarah and I have, right? Sarah, you have.
Mhm.
So I think you and I are kind of thinking about that other world he went to.
Yeah. I have a feeling
promise maybe he did not keep.
Hmm?
Maybe there was a promise he did not keep.
Very possibly. But I don't want to get too cryptic. But
I want to get cryptic because I'm a jerk.
I think, I don't know, but I suspect with what we know from the second book that Nix might be right.
Yeah, I forgot about the whole thing with the fate. And I also I forgot, yeah, there is no mention of a king.
No, don't say it. I know what you're thinking of. Keep your mouth shut.
Okay, in this book, there's no mention of a king.
No spoilers, Toni. No book spoilers.
It's just so hard because the story's so good, and you just want to follow them all. Go away, it's my cup. So, Dawson's trying to drink my cup of water. It's horrible. Any other thoughts that we did not hit? Like I said, this book is pretty big, so there's probably something that was pretty awesome we didn't get to talk about, or that I've forgotten. Does anybody else remember anything that they enjoyed or remember from the book? Because it's been a month for me.
I actually get a little bit of kind of like twisted pleasure out of the fact that Quoth really, really, really wants to be a namer, and he really, really, really sucks at it. He's like, oh, look at me, I'm a musician, and look at me, I'm inventing things in artificery, oh, look at me, I do everything perfectly. Well, here's the thing I want most out of my life. Well, you fell off and broke your face.
Oh my god, that scene. That's so hard.
I was like,
I had to stop reading. I was trying to water.
Like, there was a moment where I was like, oh my god, and I was like, oh, you totally deserve that.
What was the professor's name? Does anybody remember?
Eladin.
Is it Eladin?
Yeah.
Girl,
that was hysterical. When Quoth opens his eyes up and Eladin looks down at him and says, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen anybody do." Oh, and then when he learns later that Fella is studying with him, it's like, oh man, salt in the wound right there.
Yeah.
The fact that she's way better at it than me makes me happy. Makes me really happy. But man, that scene is amazing. Yeah, because Keiga is superior in all his skills. Like, I mean, the guy has a lot of confidence, which is great. Good for you. Good for confidence. But, you know, even as much as I like him, he can be of a dick, which is probably why I would have a total crush on him if I was a student at the school.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably why I do like him.
Yeah, that's why I kind of feel the feeler. Feeling the feeler. Gonna be a thing now. Oh, yeah.
Is that your Fila dance?
This is my Fila dance.
Do the Fila.
Fire away from me. Go away, fire.
I thought it was kind of funny how realistic the sexism in the book was. Like, did anybody else pick up on that? Like, when I think it was the instructor, like Alexa or Elxa Doll or whatever, that girl is late to the first class, and he's like so nice to her, escorts her into class, and is like, "Oh well, could you cross your legs, please?" And then she does, and well, now that the gates of hell are closed, we can proceed. And I was like, "Holy crap! Did you really just say that?" Like. Oh my God, no wonder there are no women at your university, you dick. Like, what the hell?
Well, I gotta admit, that shit was funny. The gates of hell.
It was funny, but it was also kind of like, how has nobody slapped you yet? Like, I was like, wow, dude, that guy's got a brass pair. Like,
He's got tenure. He doesn't have to worry about it.
Right.
Well, I mean,
tenure.
not getting fired, but I mean,
I
okay,
know.
so you're going to be a dick to these students who you're teaching to do some pretty, like, intense stuff. If you're really mean to a few of them, eventually they're going to learn their lesson pretty well and you know, possibly eventually outscope you in that. Do you
Yeah,
really
but
want them to be angry with you? Yeah, like, just, I was just like, wow, like, that's intense. But then when, Quoth mentions that they don't whip women as a punishment. And I was like, I was kind of on the fence. I was kind of on the same book with him as I was like, I don't think that's fair.
That is
Yeah.
fair. No, that I agree with that. Although whipping is a really freaking intense punishment in itself. Like,
and it kind of
holy
seemed
crap.
like everything. The punishment for everything is getting whipped. Like,
Yeah.
everything. It doesn't matter what you do. Like, that's just it. So whoever wrote these rules has something to answer for, in my opinion. But
You know, it's kind of odd, like, for this book, you know, they have to be careful about blood. And, yeah, like exactly what you said, almost every punishment is whipping. So if blood has that much, you know what I mean? Like, you guys really don't like your students. Or you're just trying to, like, you know, narrow it down. Oh, it totally reminds me how cool Debbie is.
which one is Debbie? Why do I not remember this person at all?
The money
The
line.
loan shark.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, she was alright. She was just kind of there for me. Like,
She has a bigger role in the second book.
okay.
But I did genuinely like her, and it's kind of the things that are like where Rothfuss creates all these characters, and I want to know more about them. Like, I really want to know more about Bast, and I want to know more about Debbie, and I definitely want to know about Brock and Wannabe Ash. Like, I want to know about Simmons and what's-his-face. The friends, buddies.
Yeah.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, they're all starting to sound like Pokemon, because then you even got that girl in the medic who was like Nurse Joy. Wasn't there like a student in the nursing department?
Yes, there was. I love that you were comparing this to Pokemon.
It's starting to make more sense now. It's all Pokemon.
You know, I will say I am glad there aren't as many characters as Game of Thrones, though.
Hey, yes.
See, I'm not a huge Game of Thrones person, so
Yeah.
I'm not with this book.
There's just too many. The story's just running away, and all the characters are running away.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
they're definitely writing their own story, and Martin can't keep up with them.
I mean, for me, it's like I've been reading a lot of science fiction more than epic fantasy. I haven't read an epic fantasy in a very, very long time. Like, I consider Harry Potter, I guess, an epic fantasy. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming we're fantasy, but epic fantasy in the sense of like a really, really deep world building, long running series. The last one I read, I can't remember. I think it was part of the Forgotten Realms world, and it had 4 characters. Oh shoot, I can't remember this. One went to hell, and when she came back, she can weave things with rope and kill you with a certain weave. And like one had a magic. Oh freak, I gotta figure this out. But you know, Sarah mentioned Game of Thrones. What do you guys think about this series in the scope of the fantasy world?
I mean, it's really well done. For me, it doesn't feel like there's any holes. It just, I don't question it. It's believable to me.
I mean, do you guys kind of agree, like, why this book is just so freaking popular?
Yeah. I think, well, right now there's definitely a hole to fill with the, is it seventh Game of Thrones book not out yet?
5th, isn't it only the 5th?
I don't know. I stopped counting a long time ago. Maybe I'm thinking 7 because of Harry Potter. The next Game of Thrones book isn't out, so there's definitely a demand for complex fantasy worlds that are to fill that. But honestly, and I am biased because I have a lot of frustrations with Game of Thrones. I think it's so popular because a lot of people read it having read something like Game of Thrones, and they're like, oh, a lot of those frustrations aren't here. Like, and that's not to say it's a perfect book, but it's faster.
Mhm.
There aren't as many holes. Like, when there is a ton of detail, usually it's for a reason. And the female characters are treated, they're not perfect, but much better.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
What about you and Nix? Sorry, Kelly and Nix. What do you guys think? Do you guys think why this do you guys agree that why this book is so popular?
Yeah, I think that everything's kind of gone over. You know, that's like there's no holes there. So no, just the first book. There's nothing like really left behind. And not too unexplained. I feel like they're gonna get to it, and it's mentioning Game of Thrones. There are things that are mentioned, and you're like, wow, this is gonna be important, and then it's never mentioned again. So I have hope for this book that things are gonna get explained, and the universe is going to expand if they don't get to some backstories. That maybe they will, and other books, spin-offs and whatnot.
Yeah.
What about you, Nix?
I think the book is so popular just because it's a really great book. I don't know that it really has a lot to do with Game of Thrones. As far as like the span of characters, I don't feel like there's much more characters than you would find in a general fantasy novel. Like, in a Dragonlance novel, you're gonna find that same spread of characters to be interested in, or like in a lot of other long-running high fantasy. So I don't feel like that's unique. I feel like it's a lot less fatiguing for somebody who's read, like, if somebody's coming off of Game of Thrones and reading this, it will be a lot less fatiguing, but I think more because Martin switches point of view. And that is difficult for a lot of people. And I think that, the reason why a lot of people look at Game of Thrones or will read Game of Thrones and then feel like a lot is left unanswered is because it's just told from multiple points of view with very little omniscient input and very little, hindsight 2020 at all. So all we can see is what the characters see. And a lot of them don't see much outside of what they want to see. So we kind of sacrifice a lot of the story in order to keep a realistic point of view in Game of Thrones. And in this one, in Name of the Wind, we have the character and his voice, but he's looking back on it. He's telling the story from the point that he's already lived it, which I think makes it much smoother and much more cohesive. I think if it had been written differently and we were looking at it from an in the moment point of view, I think it would be a lot less put together. So I think that he's telling it after is a really, really cool way to write the story, because it gives us a better story overall, which is neat.
Awesome. Makes you feel better when something does bad happen to Kager. Like, he survives. He's telling the story. But the rest of the characters, we don't know so much. So the book has become so popular, ridiculous. And like we just mentioned, first book right off the gate. So it's already, after much bidding and after much debate, the Kingkiller Chronicles was picked up by Lionsgate before the third book has even come out yet. So we're going to see what happens with that one, and hopefully it's going to do great. It better not bomb like the Modern Instruments.
I'm hoping he sticks to a book writing style and not change it up because it's going to be a movie or a show.
I mean, like, you kind of started it, but what are your guys' thoughts about it being optioned off for a movie already? Afraid, scared, doesn't matter. We still love the guys.
I tend to not get my hopes up anymore for things to be translated well.
On I don't know. I love the adaptation of Outlander. That's on Stars. I
I want
think
to see it. I want
it's
to watch this.
incredibly true to the book, and it's because the creator had creative input on the show, and they didn't just jump into it and make it for as much money as possible. Like, she waited till the right person came along. So, and I don't know who's involved with the sale or because I think there's also a miniseries option, which I think is a better format than a film.
I agree.
Yeah.
Too detailed to be shoved into 3 hours.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But if they do it right, it's going to be phenomenal.
I mean, whoever they cast as K-Guy or Bass, they better be hot.
Well, my vote for Bast would be Colin O'Donoghue.
Oh
I don't know this person. I'm going to Google them now. I think you broke Toni.
Especially after whatever happened on Once Upon a Time last.
Oh, is he?
Nah, I'm just screwing around with Kelly. But
Who is he on?
But yeah, definitely good casting. And I already mentioned Hilster.
I see him as Bast.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
I could also see David Tennant as Bass, but that's because I see David Tennant everything.
That.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I saw Bast.
With long hair and leather, oh yeah.
We need to be casting people. Why are we not casting?
I don't think there's any way that a movie is going to be able to do it, though, because a lot of the reasons why the book is so enthralling is because it covers such a long span of time and it draws certain things out so much. Like, we sympathize with Quoth and his thing with Dina because it's like he's constantly looking for her and she's never there and she shows up so randomly and you can feel the time going by. You're just like, it's been months. Like, where are you?
It wouldn't work as an 80s montage, which if it was just a 3-hour movie is what it would become.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly hope that if they do a movie and a movie series, whichever but I am really hoping for a series because the longer it is, the more merchandise there will be, and I want all this. Like, I want to wear the shirts. I want to see who they cast as K-Guy or Bass. Like,
you know what? If they do merchandise, I have one request.
What's that?
That they make that cloak of many pockets and sell it because I really want it.
Yes.
Cloaks are hard. Ooh, you know what I would love to see? A model of the little spider monster thing from the beginning that attacked the horse.
That is your
the spider demon.
Yeah. I mean, I was imagining that as, like, the alien creature from Aliens. I don't know why.
I kept thinking of it as the backpack you've been trying to make for the past few weeks.
Yeah, I gotta fix the legs. Yeah, I had to give it. Yeah, I've been trying to make a beetle backpack, and the legs broke me. Broke my mind. So I'm putting that on hold.
Donna Noble cosplay?
Yeah, I was gonna do Donna Noble for the Gala Day. So for those who don't know, Gala Day is unofficial Doctor Who Day at Disneyland. It just happened. But because I'm always last minute, I couldn't fix the legs of the Time Beetle. I couldn't find the jacket, nor the belt, nor the wig. So I ended up going as Martha Jones. The only Martha Jones. At Gala Day.
There's a lot of Martha Jones cosplay.
It's a very easy cosplay, actually. So just to wrap things up, anybody have any final thoughts on the book? Anything that's burning at the edge of your mind that we have not explored?
I'm just hoping, there's more dragons and...
that are not poisoned.
Yeah, or stoned, so they have to poison them.
So mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
You do realize that the dragon was killing people, right, Toni? Like, you do realize that it was kind of burning a town down.
Because it was stoned! It was stoned out of its mind!
But, like, okay, I mean, I get it. Like, dragon, lots of people dead. Like, one life versus lots of people. Like, come on now.
The dragon was him.
Alright, well, I'll remember that next time, you know, like, there's a dragon stomping through freaking northern LA. We'll see how that goes. Whether you're cool with them knocking down your house or not.
Wait, think about it. I'll be riding the dragon.
Considering he kept rolling on top of fire, I wish you luck with that.
Where I'm a magical being.
You had to keep warm.
Yeah, it's cold in LA. I keep warm.
If I could roll on fire, I mean, it's freezing here. Because I've
like
lived in California
degrees.
all my life. And 60 degrees means it should be snowing.
Yes, I'm cold.
Oh my gosh, you are all such weaklings.
I'm weakling.
I'm from Phoenix, and I realize that 60 degrees is not cold, people. Come on.
Okay.
It's cold. I need things.
As for final... Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I realize it's not cold, but my body tells me otherwise, so.
Yeah.
I'm cold.
Mental versus physical.
I'm tropical. I don't know these things.
Okay, back on topic.
As you do.
As for final thoughts, I would say read book 2. Obviously, it's just as
yeah.
good as book 1, if not better in some spots. And I get why everybody is bothering Patrick Rothfuss to finish book 3.
Yes, finish it.
However,
What else are they going to read?
if you finish book 2 and you get a chance to read some of his other work, his children's book is one of the most twisted stories I have read in the past few years. It is amazing, and it is so disturbing.
Oh.
It actually says on the front, "This shit is not for kids."
Really? I
Like,
didn't know that.
I was at
So
the signing. Yeah, I was at the signing reading it because we were waiting in line, and I bought it so I could have something for him to sign. Because they were out of the slow regard of silent things. So I'm flipping through, and there's 3 different endings. And I got to the 3rd one, and I turned to my friend who had read it, and I was like, "Did that just happen?" She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "No." She's like, "Yeah." And, like, everyone around me was looking at me like, why the hell are you completely, like, flabbergasted by a children's book? And I was like, you gotta read it! So, yeah.
Okay.
You're staying beneath the bed.
Yeah,
Cool.
I have it if anyone wants to borrow it.
You have it with you right now?
So, wait, it says there are 3 separate endings. So, but not like a choose-your-own-adventure?
No, it's like you just keep going. Like, the
Oh,
story
okay.
could stop in certain places, but it could keep going.
You have the book with you? To cover?
Yeah, Nix, go, and I'll go grab it.
Nix?
What am I doing? What happened?
Final words.
Final words.
It's a good book. You should read it. Those are my final words.
Simply like, da-da. Let's see. What's this children's book look like?
Okay, so, looks like a normal children's book.
Oh, it does look very innocent.
Mm.
Adventures of the Princess and Mr. Waffles?
Mr. Whiffle.
Oh, with.
It's called The Thing Beneath the Bed. But here's the little seal. I don't know how well you can see it on my terrible camera.
The
Bear.
demented teddy bear.
It says this shit is not for kids.
Oh, wow.
That's
All
awesome.
right.
See?
Oh, I
That's
see now.
hysterical.
This shit is not. Wow. All right, so I'm so gonna get that now.
It's
Or steal it from you, Sarah. One of those two.
Wow.
somewhere in here it's signed. I don't know. I forget where. Yeah, somewhere. There we go. He's very nice. You should see him speak sometime.
Yes. That's awesome. Yes, as she said, Mr. Rothfuss is very, very nice. I actually got to meet him once at San Diego Comic-Con by pure, like, crazy chance. He was signing at the Badali jewelry booth, and it was like a small information that you see in the booklet. He was just right there. Totally cool guy. I almost cried in front of him for, like, that's what I do. I just cry. And super, super nice guy. So that will conclude our little online session, Fangirl Nation Book Club. Thank you, everybody.
Wow! We have a huge audience applauding for us. Yes.
Thank you. So, if you guys haven't noticed, there is a Goodreads forum that has just started. So feel free to chime in your thoughts. If you agree, disagree, you thought we're silly, or what something that we missed. And until then, for December, we shall be reading Shades of Milk and Honey by Mary Robinette Kowal. More information on that on the website. Other than that, thank you so much for joining in. You guys want to say goodbye, ladies?
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.